so I've completed the edge on just one side of the bag first before I show you how to do it. So you see it's got this little picot edge, so these little bumps that go along. So we are going to do the border in black. Just wanted to show you how it looks before I show you the steps of doing it, and I got it on this sort of white paper in the hopes that it'll show up a little bit better. So as I said, we are going to do the edge or border in black, but I wanted to show you how to do a picot in case you didn't know how to do it, or at least how I do it, with the lavender yarn, because it's really hard to see it with the black yarn itself. So you're going to go over a specified number of single crochet, and when it's time for a picot, you're going to chain 3. So chain 3, and then come down to the bottom of your stitch. You're going to go through the front loop of the single crochet and the left hand side of the V for the stitch. Then draw up a loop and then draw that like a slip stitch through the loop on your hook. So again, you're going to go a couple of single crochet. It's actually 3 for the pattern. I'm just going to get some space here so that we can see it. And then to do the picot, 3 single crochet, you're going to go through this front loop and this left hand part of the V. So front loop, left hand part of the V, draw up a loop, and then draw that through the loop on your hook. And that's it. Then you continue your single crochet. So those are the little picot bumps that we're going to use for the pattern. I'm going to undo this now because, like I said, we're doing it in black, not lavender. That was just to show you how to do the stitch. Alright, so before I actually start the edge, what I want to do is a little trick I've been using to help prevent the strap from stretching so much, especially with this stitch that we did for the strap. It's super crazy stretchy, and your bag that's supposed to hang around by your waist in a few minutes will be somewhere by your knees or even your ankles if you're not careful. So what I want to do is use the color yarn that I'm going to use for the edge. So in this instance, black, but if you choose a different color, use the exact same color you're using for your edge piece. And I want to start somewhere here in the middle with a good tail of, 3 or 4 inches. More is better than too little at this point. And all I'm going to do is sort of measure it around the whole strap of the bag so that this piece that I cut is the length of the strap plus the width of the bag plus a bunch extra. And this piece here, I'm actually going to hold inside the stitches to act as sort of a strengthener so that it doesn't pull the stitches too much. When you're doing this, just make sure you don't stretch this really far or squish it in too much. We want to make sure, since I'm cutting this piece to begin with, I got lots of tails here, sorry about that. I want to make sure this piece is going to be long enough to stay inside the stitches the whole way, and then for me to tie the pieces together at the end. If it's too short, I have to redo the whole thing. So I've gotten here to the middle, so this should be long enough. I'm going to add a nice big long tail to it too. Like I said, I'd rather waste a little yarn and have it be too long than have it be too short and have to start over. So this piece of yarn I cut is going to be really important to us. Let me pull it out here. Get this ready to go. This piece is going to stay inside all the stitches. I'm going to carry it like it was a tail of yarn or like I'm doing tapestry crochet. Alright, now that we have this piece cut, we're ready to go ahead and start our edge. The reason I use the same color as the yarn for the edge is that I want it to disappear so you don't see it, but I will say the downside is that it's really easy to confuse the strip that we cut with the working yarn that's still attached to the skein of yarn. So do try to keep those separate. If you're really having a hard time struggling with this, make the piece you cut a different color strength, so that way you can tell a different color yarn. That way you can obviously tell the two apart. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start right around here for the edge. I'm going to join the yarn in here. This is my piece I cut. I'm just going to hold it here so that I know when I join I have a tail of a couple of inches there. This is my working yarn, so this is the one I'm going to attach. I'm going to hold it here behind the piece I cut, and I'm going to attach it back loop only, the way we have for every round on the main bag, just with that chain stitch, and I'm going to have that count as my first stitch. Now I'm going to fold the tail of the working yarn under, but I'm going to leave this piece that I cut, that one loose. I want to leave that here because in the end I'm going to tie those two tails together so that I can secure the piece inside all the stitches. So I'm going to have this first chain stitch where I joined will count as a single crochet. I'm going to do one more single crochet and now start the picot. So 3 chains, join it at the bottom, and continue on. So now the way the pattern will work is 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and a picot. One, 2, 3, and a picot. So while you're doing this, just make sure that one we cut, that nice long one, is still being held inside the stitches. Don't pull it too tight or let it back so much that it's showing between the stitches. You just want to hold it nice and comfortably with a good tension inside every stitch so that at the end we can tie the two ends together. Okay, so I've reached a corner here. I'm lucky that my picot was a stitch before. Try not to do a picot on this final stitch before you reach the strap, just because it's a little difficult. If you need to do one stitch earlier or just skip it, it's okay, because right by the corner here the pattern doesn't matter so much. So right here, now that I've got one stitch on the bag before I start the handle, the strap, I'm going to go ahead and do back loop only, pull in, but I'm going to do a 2 together stitch to go around the corner here. So I'm going to start it here. Now I'm going to jump up to the handle and finish the stitch. So that's a single crochet 2 together with the first one on the bag, the second one on the strap. And now I'm ready to start doing the corner pieces here. While you're working on the strap, you can just continue the pattern as it is, or if you want to try to keep the picots lining up, make sure you do a picot on the one that has a picot. So once you get this first one done, then you can just do 3 picot, 3 picot after that. So if you look here, it looks like the picot is on this bit. So remember, when you're working on the side of your crochet, you're going in with each row, not round, sorry. But there aren't really exact stitches to go into, but you will notice that you have the bump out, then the sort of the indent in, the bump out, the indent in, because of the pattern that we used for the stitches. So now I just did the bump, the indent. Now I'm at a bump, which is where my first picot is, looking at that first side. So that's where I'm going to do my picot and start my pattern. So I do my single crochet, then the 3, and secure it. So now it should work out. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. That's going into the bump. Here's the inside, the indent one, and that's where another picot is going to line up. So they're not going to be exact, but they're not going to be really offset too much from each other. So you can keep them together, or you can just have it be random. It looks really cool when they don't line up at all. It's as you prefer. And notice I'm still keeping that piece we cut inside all my stitches all the way around. When I get to some of these tails that I have hanging out here, I just hold them inside the stitches too to secure them, so I don't have to weave in every single one from all of those yarn changes. But that's it, that's the edge. Okay, so here I am at the other corner. Notice I still have that tail and that cut piece I'm holding in my stitches, so I can tie those ends together when I'm finished. But I just wanted to show you how to get around the corner and how to make sure that your pattern with the 3 picot routine matches up on the front. So to get to the corner, we're going to do another one of these single crochet 2 together. So you don't want to split your stitch here, sorry. So you insert your hook, draw up a loop. Now I'm going to come to the other side. I'm going to do both front and back this time. Draw up a loop, and now draw a loop through everything on your hook. That'll turn the corner for you so that you're here. So now what I want to try to do is have the picots match up with the pattern here. So if you recall, when we started way back when, we did 1 crochet. Our second one had the picot, which means I want a picot here so that it would be 1, 2, 3 picot. So this is going to be single crochet, single crochet, single crochet with a picot. That's how the pattern works. So this is single crochet, picot, 1, 2 single crochet picot, 1, 2 single crochet with a picot, 1, 2 single crochet with a picot, 1, 2 single crochet with a picot, 1, 2. That means my next stitch here was on that 2. So 1, 2. Notice when I get to the front here, I'm doing back loop only. I counted back, and now this one by my count should be a picot. After I get this one on here, I'm just going to double check it again. So this next one should be a single crochet. I'm going to get some slack here and do it. So 1, 2, 3 picot, 1, 2, 3 picot, 1, 2, 3 picot, 2, 3 picot, 1, 2, 3 picot, which I was. So looks like we'll line up pretty well. So that's it. Just continue your pattern till your ends meet. Join with a needle join the way we did all the other rounds, and then I'll show you how to connect the 2 ends of that cut piece that we had. Just keep those loose tails right there. Okay, so to finish off the edge, I've gone ahead and joined my 2 ends together, and this is the tail from the crochet work, the edge work. So this, I'm going to use a needle and weave in this end. These 2 right here, you can see this is the string, the yarn that I carried in the stitches, and this is what's going to help the handle from getting crazy stretchy. So this is the tail I left, and this is what's left at the end. What I'm going to do is double knot these together. So I don't want to pull it super tight because I don't want to warp the handle, but I do not want it too loose. So you just need to tie a little knot here. And now this will prevent that side, the strap rather, from stretching ridiculously out of place. So remember, we do this on both sides to give a little bit more security and strength to the strap for the bag. So now I have to weave these two in as well. So you're going to have just the tail from the crochet plus the yarn you carried inside the stitches. So those three have to weave those three ends in. And then once you're done with that, the other handle, you're completely done. Once you weave in the ends, you're done. Congratulations. So here's the bag. And the point of that yarn that we held inside the stitches for the edge, you remember this strap was really super stretchy because of the stitch we used, but now with that string in there, that yarn in there, you notice it's actually pretty strong. It's not going to stretch as badly. It will stretch over time. I mean, it just does. It is still yarn, but it's got a lot more strength to it, so you don't have to worry about the bag, you know, really pulling apart here and having that strap get longer and longer until it's longer than you are. So I hope that little trick works out well for you. I hope you enjoy the pattern and enjoyed making it. Keep checking out new patterns here. I'll try to get as many up as I can.